Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Thursday, November 10th, 2022. Because it's Thursday and we made it almost to the end of the week, it's happy hour. Feel free today, everybody, to join in with your recovery beverage of choice. Today, I'm trying something my wife picked up. Lagunitas, which is one of my favorite breweries. They're local. They have this hoppy hop water. It is... zero alcohol, 0 calories, 0 carbs, and 0 gluten. So I thought I'd give it a try today. That little intro portion where I tried to take a swig is the first time I've tried it. And I got to tell you, it's a lot nicer than I thought it would be. I didn't know what hoppy water would actually be, but I'd say that's pretty tasty. All right. Before we get into it today, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast, on the audio-only version. Hopefully you're having a good run today. I had my first real run today after the marathon, and the weather is just absolutely beautiful here in Crystal Lake, although it is starting to get windy because there's a cold front coming through. So by tomorrow morning, I think it'll be back to seasonably chilly temps, my favorite kind of running weather, like gloves, long sleeves, and half tights. But for today, I'm still in shorts and a t-shirt, and I got a little bit sweaty. So hopefully you're having kind of similarly nice and balmy weather. And everyone watch this on YouTube later after the fact. Hopefully cleaning up. Maybe you're doing some housekeeping. Hopefully that's all going nice and smoothly while you got this on in the background. All right, let's see who you got here in the chat. Werner Will is here. Says, hello, everyone. Just dropping by to say hi. Can't hang today, but hope everyone's having an amazing day. Yeah, awesome. Good to see you. Sean Devlin says, hey, everyone. Some easy yoga this morning followed by 5 miles. Nice. Slowly easing myself back into the running game. All right. Well, it's good to hear, Sean. I know you were kind of sidelined for a little bit. All right. Martha says, little wave. She says, on my treadmill run today, I listened to a podcast interview of Robbie from Believe the Run on the Spark channel. Really interesting and entertaining. Yeah, though. I mean, I like both of those guys, Spark channel guys and Robbie too. So I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet. I forgot my Apple Watch, which is what I normally use to listen to podcasts and music or audiobooks on the run. And that one was on my list, so I haven't had a chance to get to that one. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. Tracy Smith says, holy hotness on the run this morning. This is really November. Yes, it certainly is warm. All right, so I'm going to dive a little bit more into this hop water. I always kind of felt like the hop water was kind of like just like a random, like, just product to kind of jump on the craze of all these new, like, kind of like carbonated but not alcoholic and not soda type beverages. But this one is actually really good. Now, when I thought about hop water, I thought, oh, is it going to just taste like flat beer or something like that? I don't know. It's very, very lightly fizzy, and it's very citrusy. This one is 0 alcohol splashed with a citrusy zing. And it's actually really, really nice. I think that it kind of reminds me of like a LaCroix. Not as fizzy, but like in that kind of similar vein. Like it doesn't taste like, when I think of like a hoppy beer, it doesn't taste like hops. It's just a nice beverage, and it's kind of like citrusy in that kind of like maybe a watermelon-y, strawberry-ish flavor. Maybe like not like a watermelon juice, but like if you had put watermelon like in the beverage somehow, that's kind of what it tastes like. So I'm definitely enjoying this. Eliza says, hey, co-fam, getting back into the routine and did some running in a cool 36 Fahrenheit. That's nice. If only we had that on Sunday. I know. That is basically the exact kind of weather that I was expecting. Did I tell you guys this? I bought when I do work with a brand, I try to make sure I have enough clothes to wear. 2019 for Chicago, I didn't. And it was cold over that weekend. I was working with Nike, and I just, for some reason, didn't think to buy like a big Nike thick jacket. And so I was running around town, not dressed warmly enough, and it was a cold weekend. And I definitely feel like I caught a little bit of a cold by the time I got to Sunday for the race. And so now if I'm on working with a brand on a race weekend, I'll make sure to buy some of my own stuff. Cause they'll provide a lot of things, but I always like to make sure I have enough stuff. And that way I could stay on brand the entire weekend. And I bought this really nice puffy coat from New Balance. expecting that I would wear it around all after the race because I'm usually extra cold after a run. But I didn't even pack it because I knew I wouldn't need it at all. But I kept it. I'm not going to return it because, it's always good to have another puffy layer in the winter. So I'm determined to stay extra warm all winter long. So that'll be part of the arsenal. Sean Devlin wants to know, any other Noblesse folks feeling that pod-like thing under the ball of the foot? Kind of annoys me on one foot only. Weird. I don't notice it as much as most people do. I certainly don't notice it as much as like some of the older Pegasus that had like the front Zoom Air pod. But in a Pegasus, I would always notice it more on one foot than another. I don't really notice it like the trampoline pod thing. That isn't really a pod, but like the way they've sculpted the foam on the Noblesse, I don't notice it tremendously as like a very specific. I just feel like it in the forefoot of the shoe. But some people notice it very significantly. All right. We got JC in here, says howdy, howdy. Steven Z says, yo. Lou Klein says, hi, Co. Hey, now, family. By the way, so I said I had my first, like, for real long run or a real run yesterday. My 6-year-old is in Girl Scouts, and she's working on collecting some Girl Scout badges. And one of the things she could do to collect a badge was to go for a run outside. I don't know what kind of badge it is, but the only parameters I was given is that we need to run outside. So I took her for a run through the neighborhood. We did a minute on, a minute off for 25 minutes, and then ended at the playground and then played for a while. So that was my first real run after. Did I lose the microphone here? You guys hearing me? I don't hear myself. Hello? Okay, there we go. That was my first run, but like it wasn't a run. Today was a run. I did like about 8 miles. Nice easy pace. My body definitely still feels like it has just run a marathon, but feeling good. Hopefully I'll be able to try doing a workout on Sunday. Tony Macias says, with it 0 alcohol, 0 carbs, 0 gluten, 0 everything, it sounds like it's 0 flavor. It's actually pretty tasty. I'm liking this. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I'm not in like the working world anymore, but I feel like this would be really tasty to have like at a work lunch. Or I also feel like, I really love Jimmy John's sandwiches. I just think this would go really well with a Jimmy John's sandwich and the bag of salt and vinegar chips. I just think that'd be nice and tasty. Kristen G says, cheers. She's got a green smoothie with kale, pineapple, turmeric, ginger, etc. And she's here. That sounds really delicious. I think that pineapple is my favorite fruit for sure. I love it. Carrie Smith is here. He says, yo, what's going on? Finally caught a live stream. Good to see you, Carrie. Look at this waterfall you got in this picture. Where's that? Is that Niagara? That's not Niagara Falls, is it? Where is that? All right, Cody Davis says, hey, Co, just curious. You done events with Nike, Asics, and New Balance that I know of. Who's next, Adidas or Puma? Yeah, I mean, I've done work with Hoka as well. I'm hoping to do more work with them. And then in terms of who's next, I don't know. I don't have like an agenda. Adidas comes to mind because, they do happen to have the Berlin Marathon, hint, hint, Adidas, hit me up. DMs are open. But if it would have to be a race because I've been very vocally not a huge fan of their daily trainers right now. But I do love, this Sunday is probably going to be my workout's going to be in the Takumi-sen, I think. And then that'll get me to 100 miles of the Takumi-sen, and then I'll make that video next week. So I love their race shoes. Prime X, one of my favorite shoes overall. This one's just so much fun. So I'd love to do stuff with that. I've done some stuff with Puma, kind of tangentially. So like last year at TRE, there was a Puma shakeout run with Believe in the Run. And so I was kind of on the also appearing kind of list. And then they had that event in Austin where it was like they did a live podcast. and a little barbecue kind of thing. So I've done kind of some stuff with them, and we've talked a little bit, but I think that I could probably be more proactive. I'm not very proactive on stuff. So unless people like reach out to me, I'm not good at like pitching myself. So maybe I need to make more of an effort to do that. But I just feel like I've been interacting with a lot of Puma athletes. Like I interviewed Rory Linkletter, I interviewed Dakota Lindworm. I did see Anna Frisbee and Dakota Lindworm in New York. They were in Central Park warming up on Saturday, right before the 5K race. And so I kind of like, not next to them, I didn't want to be creepy, but I did kind of jog near them. And I said hi to them. And I do think that Dakota recognized who I was because like I asked them questions and they were like yelling. I was like, what do you think about the weather Sunday? And then Dakota was like, it's going to be really hot, but I think we're going to do all right. We've done well in wet races before. So like so like hopefully I could do some more stuff with Puma too, because they've been signing a really interesting collection of athletes. And they're just a lot of fun to follow. So that could be another one. Jason Dahl says, hey, everyone, happy almost Friday. Chicago enjoys this weather while you can for the next 8-ish hours. I know, it's going to turn over fast. I was talking with the moms at the bus stop, and we're like, this is the last nice day. Like, because tomorrow it comes. The winter is going to be here. JC says, it's 30s there in Texas. Oh, by Saturday morning, but he can't wait. It does sound nice. I think we'll be in the similar space with you. My wife wants to do some Christmas decorating already. She's like, you should have got it done earlier in the week because then it'd be warm out. And I'm like, that doesn't feel right. I don't know how to decorate a house for Christmas. I've never put up Christmas. I've told you guys this before. I've never put up Christmas lights before. So I don't know how one does it. So I'm probably going to be doing some YouTube searches and then going to Lowe's a bunch of times. Maybe probably go to Menards. Menards is closer to me. So I'll probably go to Menards a bunch of times this weekend. Step 1, buying a ladder. So we're going to have to buy a ladder. And then step 2, buy Christmas lights. And then after that, I'm not really sure what else to do. We'll probably buy some inflatables and stuff. So, but I feel like that's something that's better done in cold weather anyway. I got to get my full Clark W. Griswold on, Luke Klein says he's drinking some Hoka beer right now. The New York City Marathon party is later. Oh, cool. Nice. Is it the Evil Twin Brewing? That's a good brewery. I like those guys. I went to the Evil Twin Brewing Shakeout run last year. I don't know that they had one this year, but they had one last year, and that was really nice. It was out in Brooklyn, like mile 4 of the course, somewhere around there, I think. Jackie came out. Frank's drinking some water today. That's cool. And Sergeant Ray says, hi all, it's a Marine Corps birthday today. Sergeant Ray reporting for duty. Good to see you, Sergeant. Thank you again for your service. Steven C. 1984 says, I ordered my first pair of Vaporfly, and it's an upgrade from the Zoomfly Flyknit. Oh, still love that shoe, though. That is a really good shoe. My favorite of the Zoomflies. But you're going to really like the Vaporfly upgrade. I think that's going to be a nice one for you. Adam says, it dropped 20 plus degrees, or dropped more than 20 degrees Fahrenheit a couple hours yesterday afternoon and evening. He said, no, I go kicking and screaming into the winter. I'm okay once I get my mind right, though. Yeah, once you get acclimated, right. But that beginning, chill is hard. But Adam, you're out in Denver, Boulder area. Like it'll drop 20 degrees in a couple hours, and then it'll be summer weather the next day, right? So it just jumps all over the place out there. I mean, even for a Midwesterner like myself, I find it very alarming how quickly the weather and drastically the weather changes. Sorry guys, like my hair is like sticking out funny from my headphones today, and it's kind of bothering me. So I'm trying to fix it. All right. Thomas Wins here says, hey Co and Kofuzi fam, good to see you, Thomas. Adam wants to know, is this the same hot water you got into with your wife when you told us before her that you're going into London? No. I think I'm okay. I still haven't told her that I'm going to London yet. I feel like I've casually mentioned it to her, but I don't think I talked to her about Houston yet, although I feel like I've mentioned it. I don't know. I'm going to tell her that I thought I remembered telling her about it and see what she says. I don't know. Frank wants to know if hop water just sounds like a beer production byproduct. It kind of does, like hop water. Like after they press the hop, I don't think they press hops, but kind of like with cheese, like curds and whey. Is this the whey? Wouldn't that be great if that were? Maybe this is something that they used to just pour down the drain, and now they're like, oh, if we just add some watermelon and strawberry flavoring to it, stick it in a can and sell it. I wouldn't be offended if that were the case, because either way is tasty. You know, I went to school in St. Louis for college, and we had this theory that natural light was just Bud Light. That something went wrong with the batch, right? And so like we always felt like we were playing Bud Light roulette whenever we bought a 12-pack of Natty Light or Natural Light, for those of you not familiar. And so sometimes you might get a 12-pack because they just need to still sell all the Natty Light, like to fulfill orders. So if there wasn't enough like things that were slightly off with the Bud Light, but could still be sold as natural, you know what I mean? Maybe not perfect, maybe not to spec, but still sellable. That would get shoved into a Natty Light can. And so most of the times that's what you got. But every once in a while, you drink the Natty Light and it was delicious. And you're like, this just tastes like regular Bud Light. And so we always felt like we were getting a bargain that way. That was a long time ago. But that's what we were convinced. We were convinced. All right. Endurance Frank says 4 days off from New York City Marathon, taking it easy, going for a spin on the bike this weekend, making sure not to piss any niggles off. How you feeling, Co? Come to 305 if you want balmy temps. I'm feeling good. So like the last 2 days were on the bike, 30 minutes 2 days ago. Yesterday I did an hour. Yesterday Zwift put me on the loop in Central Park, which was kind of nice since I'd just been there. And, you know, I've been a little bit creaky, you know, like normal post-marathon stuff. But like the hour or two after I'd been on the bike, my body just felt like a whole new body. It just felt like nothing had ever happened. It was amazing. And then kind of like maybe it's the endorphins wearing off or something. But then after a while, I'd be like, ooh, yeah. I still ran a marathon. And then today I went for a run, about 8 miles, and just nice and easy. But the heart rate definitely felt like elevated at certain points for no reason, except for the fact that my body's telling me, like, don't forget, you just made a big effort over the weekend and we're still tired. So, you know, not like 100%, but slowly easing back into it. Christian G says, aside from the marathon heat, did you experience any strong winds in New York during the 26.2? That's the thing I felt very fortunate about, is that I did not feel any winds at all. When I did, I appreciated them because I was hot. So at no point did I feel like I was running into the wind. Except on the Verrazano Bridge. The Verrazano Bridge felt very windy, and I was on the lower level too. And so everyone's like, oh man, you really want to make sure you get on the top. I can't envision a time where I would want to be on the top. I want to be on the bottom because I think that there you're going to be more protected from wind, you're going to be more protected from elements, and you're going to be more protected from the sun. And so like those are the things that I was like, I liked being in the green wave because we were on the lower level. Although I suppose in a normal year it's cold and so you don't mind the sun. But this year it was definitely nice to have that extra 15 minutes of shade. So I appreciated it. All right, looks like Luis is here. Says, yo, what's going on? Good to see you, Luis. And, Adam says he demoed the Mizuno Neo Ultra last night. Good, nicely cushioned, but nothing special. Not much bounce. Heavy at 10.9 ounces, but felt lighter than that. Expensive for a trainer at $250. Whew. Which one's the Neo Ultra? The Neo Wind was 8.5 ounces at $220, and the Racer's out later. A trainer, a Neo Ultra trainer? I don't know these names. I got to figure these out. I did see a guy, and you guys will see it. I'm still working on my weekend, Runner's Weekend video. It's going to be long. It's going to be at least half an hour, or maybe close to half an hour. But I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm enjoying making it, although I'm ready to be done with it because it's just, feel like I've been working on it for forever. But there was a guy that was wearing, have you seen, there's like a zebra print, Mizuno that's been kind of spotted. There was a guy wearing those, and was walking to the corrals the same time I was, right in front of me. So I just grab some footage of that. I didn't get to see him run though. I have a feeling he was much faster than me. But yeah, it's a weird looking shoe. But I feel like what's funny is like I still get people in the comments that like get really angry in 2022 over like heel flares. The part that comes out back behind the shoe, and they're like, "I'm not a heel striker. I'm never going to use all that foam." And I'm like, that's not really how physics always necessarily works either. But okay, I see your point. Maybe some can be shaved off, and Nike itself has said that like like that heel point at the end of say like the Vaporfly Next Percent, and that's all it was like on the Turbo was in a large effect cosmetic and all that. But so I get the point. But there's people that are just very angry about it. And so those people better buy that shoe that has shaved off that heel flare. Otherwise, you guys got to stop complaining because you're literally not putting your money where your mouth is. It's an interesting time. Like I said, like I tell you guys all the time, every time I have a video that does well, I'm always very happy about it. But it also introduces me to a lot of people that are not familiar with my work. And so there's just like there's always a nice wave of support whenever there's new people coming to see videos, but there's always that riptide, that undercurrent of grumpiness. So just got to weather the storm, I guess. All right. Josh Lodgson says, I've been trying Liquid Death water. I wish it was a little bit more carbonated. I feel like if it's called Liquid Death, the carbonated version, it should be like hurt your mouth carbonated, right? No, I don't know. I do like Liquid Death, but I don't know if I just like the can and the art or if I actually like the product. I'm pretty sure I like the can and the art. Yeah, I don't know. Emo Farm says, have you done much more running in the Rebel version 3? I'm thinking about training for a marathon next year. I'm trying to think of a good daily trainer like shoes I can go the distance for long runs. Yeah, I ran in it for 2 shakeout runs over the weekend, and I took it for a 20 miler, and I've been putting some miles in it. Not a ton yet, but I do really love that shoe. I think it's like I had a conversation with Thomas about it over the weekend. Thomas and Brandon, we were talking about it at the New Balance like after party. And Thomas is like very disappointed in the Rebel version 3. And I'm like, I love it. He's like, you do? And I was like, yeah, because I know you guys liked it because it was like a speed shoe. It was like a tempo day shoe. But that's not what they want it to be. And I thought it was terrible at being a daily trainer. And I was like, and this year, I think it's a fantastic daily trainer. I've used it for 20-mile long runs, 20-mile easy runs. I've used it for some like strides, like so I could pick up the pace really nice. I think it does what they want it to do. And it does it really well. And Thomas was like, true, but it's not as fun as the shoe that I liked last year. I'm like, that's true. So we agreed, but our ultimate conclusions are different based on what we want to get out of that shoe. But I do think that it's a great one. So like good so you said here like you're looking for good daily trainer like shoes that can go the distance for long runs. I mean, I'd say like, all the daily trainers that I like kind of fit in that category. So like No Blast 3, 880 version 12, Rebel 3, Mach 5, Puma Velocity Nitro 2. That one's a little bit more firm, a little bit more rubber on the outsole. But that one, I think also, I really like what they've done with that shoe. So those are all ones that I would look at. Travis McCullough says, yo, Co, what's going on? Hey, Co family. Really enjoyed the New York City Marathon video. Gets me pumped up for the Route 66 coming up. Is that in Tulsa? Is that where that one is at, Travis? Scott says, I would like to try out the Deviate. Been a fan of the Velocity for about 70 miles. I don't know if I'm going to get to the Deviate this year. We'll have to see. I really liked it last year. Because I felt like it's a shoe that rolled really well. I took it on 20-mile runs, and it treated me pretty good. Lots of great grip with that Puma grip. But for some reason, the Deviate 2, I think on paper makes all the improvements that I would have wanted on that shoe, and it looks great, but for some reason I'm not like super excited about it. I think I just need to get it on my feet, and I think I'll be excited about it. Angel Johnson says, yesterday at 7:30, got my booster shot, Moderna, previously had Pfizer. Feel awful, fever, headache, joint pain, and fatigue. How long do these symptoms last? I think it can vary depending on the person. Mine didn't hit me until after 24 hours. So, your mileage may vary. And mine mine lasted for maybe 12 hours. I felt pretty crummy. Maybe a little bit longer than that. So hopefully you'll feel better soon. Thanks for getting a booster, though. Innes is here, says, hi, Kofuzi, everybody. Just in from a windy run with Pip. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah. My wife discussed the possibility of us getting dogs the other night. And I was like, no. I love other people's dogs. I'm not in a position that I want to get a dog in our house now. I feel like if I had said yes, though, then I definitely would be able to go to London. So maybe I'll save that as my fallback negotiating position. Not that my wife has said no to London. I'm just waiting for a better work's pretty stressful right now. So I'm just trying to like not overwhelm her with stuff. Timing is everything. Elliot Michael says, it was great meeting you at New York City Shakeout Run. I was in the We Run 313 shirt. I remember that. Loved how New Balance ran the event. Amazing experience. Well, thanks for coming, Elliot. It's good to meet you there. It's good to see people supporting the We Run 313. And yeah, New Balance treated us really good. I think my favorite and most underutilized kind of like amenity of the things that they provided for the Shakeout runs was the coffee bar. I had a really nice coffee with Megan Featherston because she was up there and she was like, I'm going to get something. And so she had a long conversation with the barista about what a macchiato really is versus what Starbucks has tricked everyone to thinking it is. I had no idea. And so that's what she had. And I was like, I'll have one of those too, please. And it was really quite tasty. It was good. I do definitely prefer, but I regularly enjoy like an American style of coffee. That's just a lot more volume compared to like what Europeans drink over there. But every once in a while, I can appreciate a nicer coffee drink. And they had those there too. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, Elliot. And it was great to run with you. I was just thinking about you because I was editing that portion of the video. And I was like, I remember that shirt. Bishaman wants to know, is anyone here running Philadelphia? That's coming up soon. That's soon, right? It's always right around the time of New York. Must be coming up real soon. Brandon says, my Christmas lights are up already, although mine are a bit more complicated. Well, that makes it even more impressive, Brandon. But that might be why you're doing it so early, to do it during the warmer weather. Yeah, I must be real behind you guys because you guys are talking about Christmas lights. I talked about that a while ago. All right. Let me scroll all the way down, catch up with you guys. And Lou says, I'll say New Balance really treated all the runners very well. The reps, the vittles. Yeah, I was just editing it. So they had pumpernickel bagels every time I went there. And that is my favorite flavor of bagel. I wouldn't consider it traditional. And if you're in a place that is not the East Coast that makes bagels, pumpernickel is a great way to make a non-East Coast bagel taste better. But I do enjoy a good pumpernickel bagel. I also like a pumpernickel rye, like a marble rye, just loaf sandwich. So good. Just a very delicious bread. I don't get it enough. All right. Dad Morales here for his happy hour. He's got Profi for me, coffee with, Profi. I see. Coffee with vanilla powdered protein. That sounds nice. I keep trying to mix coffee with my like protein shake stuff, and it never works out for me. I don't think I've ever tried vanilla though. I try always like the different chocolate ones that I have. And I'm always just like, it's not dissolving right. And you think it would because it's coffee and it's hot, but it just never dissolves right. It just makes the coffee not as good. But maybe vanilla is the trick. Eliza says, I miss New York bagels. I do too. I was just there and I probably had a half a dozen while I was there. And I miss them already. Mark Peterson says, the marble rye. New Veteran says, a toasted pumpernickel bagel with a fat slice of smoked Gouda is heaven. That sounds really good. I also like it with, I didn't know where that comment, how that was going to end. I was thinking you were going to go with tomato and maybe a little bit of, maybe some capers, some nice cream cheese on there. I mean, there's just so many delicious ways to eat bagels. Really good. What? Shannon says pumpernickel and rye are the biggest disappointments of bread with a vomit emoji. I feel like that's a hot take. That's an unpopular opinion, right? Don't most people like pumpernickel and rye? No. I think just rye bread is not my favorite. But if it's a pumpernickel rye, like a swirly, oh my goodness. I think visually I like it, but also taste-wise I like it too. It's just really good. What? And it says, on our holiday in Paris last week, that's a nice sentence. That's the nice way to start out the sentence. On our holiday in Paris last week, the coffee was really bad, very bitter. Nice food, but very bad coffee. Oh, that's disappointing. I think when my wife and I were in Paris, and this was we were there once, many, many years ago, before we were even married. And I think we just had cappuccinos the whole time. Maybe espressos or cappuccinos. I don't think we were scared to ask for like an American style coffee. We're like, they will kick us out. I was like, they're going to kick us out. We should either ask for wine with breakfast or an espresso. I think if we ask for anything else, we'll be laughed out of the cafe or Le Bistro. Maybe, I mean, we were in some pretty touristy areas, so I think we would have been fine. Travis McCullough says, it's illegal to put up Christmas decorations for Thanksgiving. I will very strongly disagree with you on that. Our family, we have always put up our Christmas decorations like usually the weekend before Thanksgiving. And a lot of it's because we travel a lot. And so if we don't, then we only get to see our like Christmas decorations for like a week and a half. And for that small amount of time, I'd rather just not do them. And I've told my wife that. So she's like, all right, well, then we're putting them up in the middle of November then. So I think it's about that time for us. And the way I see it, you know what? I know that some people are really grumpy about Christmas decorations going up too early. Those are usually the people that are very angry about the war on Christmas as well, that insist on saying like Merry Christmas. So I think it's a very strange dichotomous life you're living. Not you, Travis. I'm not saying that, but like, I'm just thinking about one of my aunts. but I like them because Christmas decorations, even very early, put me in a very good mood. And I feel like we could all use a little bit of, mood enhancing as a country. So, but everyone is entitled to their opinion. So if you don't like the Christmas decoration for Thanksgiving, I suppose that's okay. But I will urge you to reconsider maybe. Dr. Al says, though, the vanilla protein in the coffee is the key. And also you need a whisk. What are you guys using for whisks? Do you use like a manual whisk when you're making like drinks, like your coffee shakes? I really don't like the sound of those shakers that have the little ball inside that makes it sound like a can of spray paint. Like I really don't like that. Do you use a little thing that has like the little button on top and it's this little stick that just like wiggles real fast? Do you guys use that? What are you guys using to mix the drinks? I just like shake the bottle real hard, and sometimes some of the protein powders do not mix well. I don't know. Maybe that's the next. That's a really annoying video that I'd have to make, because then I'd have to have like drinks, set them up multiple times, measure the dissolution rate. Ugh, I don't want to do that. But maybe I'll just buy a couple of whisks and see what I like. It doesn't have to get super technical. this. I'm gonna have to go. The thought of an unexpected bite of rye, thinking something else makes me nauseous. Oh, excuse me, guys. Ooh, by the way, I did talk to my wife yesterday, and she thought it was a very good idea that I need to get a new doctor now that we've moved. And she's like, you should probably get that checked out. So I'm going to try to get this cough checked out. I've had it for like 4 weeks, and it's starting to get really annoying. I felt really bad about it because like I'm not sick. I just ran 2 marathons feeling like this, and but like I was waiting before the panel on Thursday in like this back hallway, the green room, quote unquote. It was just a hallway, with like 2 professional athletes and then another person, the co-founder of Run Girl, who are all planning on racing on Sunday. And I'm sitting with them on Thursday, and I've got like a cough drop in, and I'm just like, because I don't want to cough on stage, not because I'm sick, but like just got this cough. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I tried to stay far away from everyone and like not engage in any of like that. There was some chatter, but try not to engage too much. So that was unfortunate. Luke Klein said, Pumpernickel is the best. New Balance also provided peanut butter. I can't remember the last time I saw open peanut butter. Yeah, there was peanut butter there. All right. Haiku Review. Someone asked if anyone's doing any turkey trots. And Haiku Review says, just signed up for the Miamisburg, Ohio. That sounds like I was like, Miamisburg, that's got to be Ohio. But yeah, Miamisburg, Ohio, turkey trot 5-miler. So there's Miami of Ohio, and then there's Miamisburg in Ohio. But this race is going to have around 8,000 runners there. 8,000 runners. And then you're going to go have some turkey. Today on the radio, I was listening to the radio. Because we got our blue car back. The blue car, the transmission broke. And it just took us a while to finally like find a shop. Mainly I was lazy about it. But we finally took it into a local shop, and they were able to rebuild the transmission for under $4,000. So I was really happy with the price. The Dodge dealership quoted us $8,000. But so I've been driving around the blue car, but the blue car is a 2015 Dodge Journey. It has no like CarPlay or anything like that. So I just listened to radio in there. In the radio, they were talking about inflation and like the price of turkey and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, I think turkey at Thanksgiving might be inflation proof. I think people are still going to buy the turkey. And they're like, but people might make, exchanges at other places. Maybe not get the store-bought brand of stuffing rather than the national brand, I guess. But it'll be interesting to see the way turkey sales go. All right, I'm gonna keep scrolling down and catch up with you guys. Yeah, Lou says $8,000. You can get a decent used car for that. The thing is, Lou, you cannot. So, like, that's why we just let the car sit for a little while. Because I was like, well, let me figure out who like the reputable mechanics are in town, and that took me a little time. So, yeah, but I think we found the right guy. And the shop ends up being like across the street from the place where it's like a 6-lane highway. The street from where I went running today. So I kept passing it over and over. I'm like, this is a sign. I should just go there and check them out. So here we go. Stevie76 says, I just dropped $7,000 on transmission tires instead of for the 2014 Pathfinder. Yeah, but I mean, it's like, what are you going to do? Try to buy a new car or another used car right now? Those prices are high. I got an email from that Dodge dealership in town, which is like just at the end of the subdivision here. And yeah, they were impossible to work with. They, just like straight up lying to my face. They told me they weren't allowed to negotiate because it's a publicly traded corporation. And I'm like, anyway. But they emailed me later and they were like, our records indicate that you have a 2015 Dodge Journey. We have a client who is looking for just such a car. Let us know if you want a price quote. We'll buy it off of you in cash. And I was like, no, thanks. I don't want to work with you guys anymore. But I felt like, if it costs anywhere between even $7,000, dropping that on an older car, it makes a lot of sense. If you get a couple more years out of it, it's cheaper than buying what the operating cost is for a new car, So that's kind of what we figured. And now it runs great. It's still an old car. It's got 186,000 miles on it still, but for my like just using it to get around town, go get groceries, go to my running, wherever I'm running, it's perfect. It I don't have the technological amenities. There's no heated seats, there's no backup cam, there's no CarPlay, those kinds of little things. There's no auto lights either. So I got to remember to turn the lights on and off, when it gets dark, but it's the perfect car. I mean, I wish I got better gas mileage. That's it. Mace Windex says, is it okay to buy shoes on Amazon? I ordered the Puma Velocity Nitro 2 for 42 pounds, and it was only one at that price. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've done it before, but it's been a while, and I usually try to avoid it just because, like, yeah, I don't know how they've, like, taken care of the shoe, how they got the shoe, if the shoe is what they say it is, you know what I mean? Like, so there's definitely some people that are concerned about fake shoes that are on there or knockoffs, and just there only being one at that price is not what would throw me off about it. You know what I mean? Because that just might be the last one that they have, right? So it could be some sort of like reseller or someone that happened to come across some sort of weird opportunity to buy like 12 pairs of shoes, and that's the only one they got in that size, so that's, there's a lot of like very legitimate reasons why it can be that way, but generally I'm a little bit hesitant to do that. It's far from the first place that I go when I'm looking for shoes online. I know some people feel a lot stronger about it or against it than I do, and there's some people that do it all the time. I know Amazon sells a lot of shoes, and it's something that they've been really working on, like cleaning up, because they want it to become a place that they want to basically like become like running warehouse and then some as far as running shoes go. But I think they have a little bit of work to do. But in the same event, like, even when it came down to like in the early days of eBay, like people were concerned about like, what are you really getting? There's plenty of people that are good actors in that space, but occasionally you get bad ones. So I would just, double check on it, make sure it is what it appears to be, or appears to be what it's supposed to be, before you really start running on it. Dad Renell has had good experiences. He says Amazon has been good to me for shoes. Yeah. So like, I know like my experience was fine. I buy a lot of like running apparel on Amazon. But I know there's some other people out there that are like completely anti. Let's see. Sam Miles says, I have bought and returned Amazon Prime shoes that I used. He said I only did 5 miles in it. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to return a shoe if it's not working. Scott says, I found the OG Adidas SL20 in the summer color. They were a good deal. Yeah, they were. I'm glad it worked out for you. It looks like a lot of you guys have good experiences with it. I've been trying to like use Amazon less overall generally though. And then my daughter had caught a cold or something like that. So she was home from school for a couple of days. And then she was like, Dad, can I watch this movie? It's on Amazon Prime. I was like, we stopped being Amazon Prime members a little while ago. And then my wife was like, can you just re-sign up for it so she can watch this movie? Sign up for a temporary trial. And so I did. And then I just kept it after that. I don't know. I go back. I wish I could just break from it, but I still use it. JC says, I'm hanging on to my 05 Xterra as my running car. Nice. That's an old one. I think about it. Like, there's a, I forget exactly how the line goes, but there's a line in Apollo 13 about how like the equipment that's in like a, I don't know, it's in Apollo 13. There's some space movie where they talk about the equipment that's in a space shuttle is less sophisticated. Or older than it's when most people's cars, I'm completely botching that. Anyone, if you remember what I'm talking about, help me out. But like, I think about my that 2015 car, it's 7 years old now. And I think about that in terms of like compared to like people's phones. Even my phone I have an iPhone 11, so that's, I guess I'm 3 years old. That feels like it's ancient, although it works just fine for me. I don't feel like I'm missing too much. The new cameras are really good though. Um, but I don't know. I'm of an age where I'm like, I like holding on to things, except for shoes. Just give me the brand newest ones. I guess that's the thing. It's like I have things that I care very passionately about, and then other things where I'm just like, just make it less annoying as possible. Mm. Martha says, whenever possible, though, I buy my shoes from Milestone Running in San Diego, get a great discount, and support an indie store that I love. Yeah, I still haven't been to the Crystal Lake. There's a running store in Crystal Lake. I forget what it's called, but it's right on Main Street. I keep meaning to go in. I also do need to bring my bike in for it. I don't know if it needs a tune-up or if I've broken it somehow. But I need to bring that in too. Maybe I'll bring that in during the taper, right before CIM. It's a problem that seems to be getting worse. But like there are certain gears where it just won't stay in that gear. The chain will just hop back and forth, and so like I'll be riding and it just goes click 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 click, and then like it kind of like it's not catching or whatever. I don't know. I'm hoping it's a tune-up issue. Maybe they just need to tighten or loosen something cable-wise, but it's super annoying. I have a feeling it's going to be an expensive fix, unfortunately. But I have no idea, really. All right. Riggs Reiko says, I just listened to the supplement episode of Fuel for the Soul. Is it just me or what? But it made me feel like there are so many supplements I'm missing, especially during peak training. I mean, I think there's a lot of approaches to that. There are many things certainly that people can supplement with, and Megan Featherston is definitely very knowledgeable, an expert in the field. Um, but I don't know. I think for me, I try to stay away from a lot of the stuff. I mean, here's the thing: I take the recovery protein. I like ones with branched chain amino acids in it. I don't really mess too much with pre-workout, but I drink a lot of the, endurance sports hydration drinks. But like other supplements and stuff, kind of once it starts getting to like multivitamin E type of stuff, like AG1, I start to get a little bit hesitant. Back when I had vertigo, I guess I still have it, but I don't know. Like taking a daily vitamin seems to make it worse for some reason. I don't know what it is about that. Maybe it's just coincidence and I was only taking the multivitamin when I wasn't feeling good, But so like supplements, I always get very wary about. Sean wants to know, what do running warehouse / local running shops do with returned shoes? I'm not exactly sure on it, but I know like Roadrunner Sports has like every like month or so, they'll have like a sale where they'll just literally put on a big folding table a bunch of shoes, no box, just shoes like tied together, that are all deep discounted, and it's called like gently used shoes. And I think that's what it is. It's like ones that they've used for testing, or like for people to try on in the store or whatever, and then or things that have been returned. So I don't know about other running shops, and I can't imagine how many Running Warehouse gets. I'm sure they look at it and they're like, has this been used? Can we resell it as new? Like maybe someone tried it on in their house and then was like, well, this wasn't the right size. I ordered 2 different sizes. I'll send back one of them kind of thing. Or is it like someone ran in this and like it ended up not working for them, so they returned it? And then they can't sell it as new. I don't know if they sell those at a discount or if those get like, I don't know if it's like an employee perk. Hey, you want to buy a pair of used shoes? Super, super cheap. Or I don't know if there's a mechanism for, I'm sure if there's a product defect and they get a shoe back, I'm sure, I would hope, I don't actually know, but there'd be a mechanism for returning that back to the manufacturer. So I don't know. John has a great question. It says, still can't figure out the Super Blast. Is it like a Nova Blast 3 Plus? All things being equal, which one to pick as a daily trainer? I would say no. It is not, in my opinion. And if you want to pick a daily trainer, don't pick the Super Blast. I don't think it is. I mean, unless you're thinking that like a Tempo Next Percent is, or like the Fuel Cell TC is a daily trainer. Some people use like the Endorphin Speed as a daily trainer, so those people might, but like, I don't think of it as a daily trainer, really. I think of it as a workout shoe. And I know like, even in the ad copy, ASICS is talking about it as like, the ultimate daily trainer. I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. And I don't think of it as a shoe that I would wear 5 times a week. You could. I took it on an easy run, a 10-mile easy run, and it was really nice, actually. But it wouldn't be like my first choice. Probably because of the price per mile, kind of thing. And I'd want to save it for all my workouts. So I like it as a long run workout shoe, right? So like, let's say you've got 16 miles with 8 at marathon effort. I'll reach for the Super Blast. That's going to be a great choice. If it's 10 miles easy on a Thursday, I'd probably pick a Nova Blast. Super Blast would do a good job at that though. But probably like the Nova Blast is a little bit cheaper. So it's softer too. And I don't need to go fast on an easy run. So I'd pick that shoe. You know what I mean? I'm not saying people got to go out and buy both. If you're only going to buy one and you need one that could do long runs and easy runs, I guess then you could pick the Super Blast as your daily trainer. But in that situation, it's like, are you better off trying to, I think it's really hard to train for a marathon and race for an entire cycle and then race in it. That's a lot. You're asking a lot out of one shoe. And I know that's how a lot of people do it, and that's okay. But in that situation, I think the Nova Blast 3 might be the better choice. If you have one, and I think I said this in the video, if you are looking to have one and only one shoe, the Super Blast is maybe not the right choice. So that's kind of how I see it. It's a little bit more, I see it as more specific than that. I don't know. This weekend, because I want to do that Takumi-sen video, I'll probably run in the Takumi-sen for my next workout. But for the next long run I have after that, this Sunday's workout is going to be like stuff at like threshold pace and then fast and then 5K pace and then faster. So that's not exactly where I like the Super Blast, but the next long run I have on the schedule is going to be like, 6 miles at marathon pace and then like 2 miles at threshold and then another handful of miles at marathon pace. I think that's where the Super Blast is going to be really good. I feel like long efforts at speed. So we'll see. We'll see if it still holds up. I've run in it twice, and I'm really impressed with it. I hope we'll see how it goes. I'm leaning towards running CIM in it, very very much. Yeah. So unless something like major wrong happens, that'll be my CIM shoe. Adam says he doesn't have Amazon Prime, but his ex does. The kids watch Prime movies there with her. With the ex, and then Netflix with me. There we go. Nice. They get a little bit difference in each house. There you go. And Eric wants to know, how are the SC Elite version 3s for New York? They work great. I mean, like they've fixed everything that I didn't like about the RC Elite 2, which I felt like it didn't have enough pop and it didn't have enough cushion in the front. So it was very squishy, but almost too squishy. It would kind of bottom out, so I felt like it needed a little bit more to kind of get through the entire compression cycle to still have something left to bounce back. I felt like it just would bottom out and just stay kind of flat a little bit too long. But I think they've added a little bit more foam underneath the plate, and I think that's makes the difference. And so it feels a lot peppier. And then like for me, like I just felt great. My feet felt great the entire race. So not a single issue at all. And even the last couple miles coming through Central Park, I just felt like I had plenty of pickup in that shoe. So I was really impressed with it. It got a little heavy with all the sweat and all the water getting poured on me. So it got soggy, but everything on my body was soggy by the time I was finished that race. It was actually quite gross. Like I just felt like my half tights, I felt like I was wearing like, just like I had like just a wet, soggy layer wrapped around. Like I felt like I was just like running in like a wet towel. Because because of how just like muggy and gross everything was. But the shoes otherwise did great, and like it got really really wet on a lot of the aid stations because people were just like dumping water on themselves. But I had no traction issues whatsoever. I did get some tape stuck to my foot. That was the worst thing that happened to me. But yeah, it was good. All right, let me keep scrolling down. We've been here for a long time already, 55 minutes. This time just flew by today for me, guys. All right. Josh Logsden says, SC Elite version 3 or Endo Pro version 3? Oh, I like them both. But I would say the way that I would decide it is if you are a midfoot striker or a forefoot striker. If you're a midfoot striker, go with the SC Elite version 3. I like the energy arc. It picks up that plate really high in the heel. And so when you land midfoot, you get kind of like a bounce and then like a squish and then a bounce up, and it picks your heel up, and then you're rolling through onto your toes. And I really like the way that it happens very quickly, very subtle, but I feel it, and I like it for midfoot strikers. For forefoot strikers, that Endo Pro has just like a big bulb, like a giant ball of really nice foam up front that is very pleasant to run fast in. So that might be one way of looking at it, but I would really just recommend finding a place that has them both and try them on. Try to get them on a treadmill and see if you can try them both, because they're both really good shoes. Very different uppers, so that could be another way that people decide it. My gut reaction is to say, like, how does your foot hit the ground? What are you looking for in your super shoe? Because I think we're now at the point where it's not like which shoe is best. It's like, all right, tell me what kind of shoe you want, and I'll tell you what the right super shoe is for you, kind of thing. Which is, I think, a really great place for consumers, is because now there's so many different options to all the different kinds of feet that people have. All right. That's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I will get that Runners Weekend video out to you guys by tomorrow. It's just taking a lot longer. Plus, I did a couple of things for Relay. So if you guys are Patreon supporters over there, Lindsay Hine and I did a New York City Marathon recap. That'll be going out tomorrow. And then today, I spent most of the day with Matt Chittum and Peter Bromka doing a CIM, kind of like a racer's guide. So that'll be really fun. I think that'll come out next week. So some other stuff to check out there. All right. Hopefully you guys will see that video tomorrow. It's a long one, so maybe save it for the weekend. I think Friday release is a good day for it. But we'll also do one more live stream. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.